Hello and welcome to It's the Pictures. This is episode number 208. I am your host, Evan Crean, and I am joined by my co-host, Max Covill. Hey, Max.
How you doing, Evan? Happy to be back.
Yeah, I'm great. How are you? This is good to be back.
I'm in the thick of the for your consideration season that we're part of here at our Film Critics Association, and we're right upon the Thanksgiving holiday, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like this is like the ultimate time that people, I mean publicists believe that film critics have time to watch their movies
Yeah.
because it's a full onslaught dump the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, is it like you're getting digital screeners left and right, getting mailers left and right? Although this year I've just finally got like my first physical mailer, of course, the neon digital the physical screener set that Neon
Hmm.
sends, which is I look forward to every year, and we've talked about this on the show. I think it always looks really nice. It's really like cool looking set with a fun design, and so I was like really psyched to get it. But yeah, it's like when the heck are we gonna watch these movies? It's like we're like everybody else, critics. We have families and commitments over the holidays, so it's a little tricky to sit down and watch movies, but we will survive, I think.
Yeah. No, it's one of those first world problems to have, right?
Oh, totally. It's funny because normally in like a given year when I get that neon set, I look at it and I think, "Oh, I've already seen a few of these." This year, I think I've seen one movie in like the like 10 or however many they sent. It's like, "Oh boy, I have a lot to catch up on."
Yeah, for me, luckily, visiting Toronto back in September, I was able to watch like I'd say like a fourth of the films that I saw in Toronto were probably neon
Mhm.
films. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so I got a pretty good start on this box.
Yeah, you did. And then you also didn't you also go to some of the IFF fall focus movies too?
No, I didn't get to go to any of those this year, so I guess I kind of skipped it. And as the films roll out, I'll see them.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Well, there's always too many movies to watch and not enough time, as you said, first world problem. But should we jump into this week's news?
Sure, but before that, Evan, what we gotta even talk about today?
Well, yeah, we should probably mention the topic of our show, which is the Knives Out franchise, because we are on the verge of a new Knives Out film coming out. Wake Up, Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, which is launching on the 26th, right? On Thanksgiving,
Yeah, the day
if I'm
before, I
remembering
think.
correctly. But yeah, isn't it coming? It's going to be in theaters first, right? And then coming to Netflix, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, it's been in theaters. I guess very limited theaters. When I went up to the Coolidge Corner Theater the other day for a screening, uh, there was it wasn't on the marquee, so they weren't at least showing it. They were still showing Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're talking about Knives Out today, and actually, it's kind of funny. We've got a couple of like semi-related news pieces that we'll talk about first. The first is that, and I was very sad to hear this, that Ryan Johnson of Knives Out and Star Wars and many other great movie fame, his series Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne got the axe at Peacock. And I was really bummed about this. I was surprised that it got canceled because I thought it's a really good show. I mean, it's a very clear homage to Columbo, but it's a lot of fun. And I was reading too that it got good ratings and people really enjoyed it. It was a little bit expensive to make and didn't quite do as well as the first season. So of course they're like, let's cancel it. Stupid. But yeah, apparently the not the even more surprising thing about it being canceled is not that it's over, but that they're still shopping around Poker Face to other places, and they're replacing Natasha Lyonne as the lead character with Peter Dinklage of all people. That was probably the most shocking news to me when I saw the headline about it being canceled. Not only it's gone, but we're just going to swap the entire lead character, the actor playing the lead character. And now they're talking about this idea, both Ryan Johnson and Natasha Lyonne, of kind of switching it up like every two seasons and have someone else play Charlie Cale, the lead character in this Columbo like Mystery of the Week franchise. So, Max, what do you think about this news?
Yeah, so like you, I was kind of surprised that it was canceled. I guess, like you said, the numbers just didn't work for Peacock, and they're like, oh well, it might be bringing in an audience, but it's not the audience that we need to support a show of this
Hmm.
cost. I don't know if I really got the sense that like if Natasha Lyonne was still attached as Charlie, like maybe like it would have a better chance at getting picked up, and maybe just like bringing Peter Dinklage into the fold was like a last second like Hail Mary of like,
Hmm.
oh, let's see if we can keep this going and pitch it like, oh, it's like Doctor Who, and who cares who the main detective is. But I don't know. I think what made like Murder She Wrote and Columbo interesting all those years were our central characters. I mean, like
Right.
it was really about spending time with them and seeing how they interacted with the guest star of the week, if you will.
Right. Totally. Yeah, I
So,
admit I haven't seen as much Murder She Wrote, but I've started to see a lot more Columbo because my wife Shauna is a big fan, and yeah, there is something that's really delightful about seeing the fun guest stars, as it is with Poker Face,
hmm
seeing who's going to crop up in the show and how they're going to be tied to the central mystery. But yeah, I mean, it turns out that maybe even HBO is considering picking up, because of the Peter Dinklage connection. They've actually had quite good luck with him, in the Game of Thrones series, and so they're considering. I guess they also had heard the original pitch on this, and they were interested back at the time before Peacock picked it up. So maybe it will be in HBO's court. I guess we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, like for that same idea, like maybe Netflix would be a possible suitor because they've had the Knives Out films, and they'd be like, oh, from the creator of Knives Out, if you want to watch something else, it's like corporate synergy. So
Yeah, totally. So we'll see. We'll see Poker Face. Hopefully, it finds a new home because I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I like it as much with Peter Dinklage attached, but I'm willing to give it a chance.
mm,
And then the next item in related news, since we're on the Ryan Johnson train today, is that apparently some people really want Ryan Johnson to make a Muppets Knives Out crossover. And I'm a big fan of the Muppets. We've talked about the Muppets on the show before with our guest Odie Henderson, and yeah, so people have been demanding a Muppets Knives Out movie. I think someone made like a fan poster or something like that. And Ryan Johnson has said, no, that's no way that's going to happen. And people are obviously upset about this. But I think his rationale kind of makes sense. He's kind of like, it's either got to go one of two ways. We either have to put the Muppets in a Benoit Blanc movie where they have to die because there's just a lot of murder in the Knives Out movies, or we have to stick Benoit Blanc in a Muppet movie, and that doesn't really work either. And I kind of agree with that. I think it takes on a different tone, a different kind of bent for the movie to stick Benoit Blanc with the Muppets. I almost feel like Benoit Blanc would be funnier as like a guest host of the Muppet Show than he would be, in an actual like movie or thing with the Muppets. But what about you, Max?
yeah, I think a lot of this comes from the clamoring to like have another Muppet movie collaboration with like a live action star, like the Muppet Christmas Carol, Michael Caine, or
Mm-hmm.
Muppet Treasure Island with
Tim Curry. Yeah.
Tim Curry. So I think a lot of that just comes from that kind of like energy.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think in my head how you could make this work. I was like, yeah, I guess you could throw some more humans into the mix and have like a human be one of the ones that dies, and you wouldn't have to kill off a Muppet. But like, even then, it's like, what is one Muppet gonna do, or how do you have like Fozzie Bear pretend like he's guilty or something?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know that it works, but I do love Ryan Johnson, and I think the unexpected positive of this is that he said he's totally down to make his own Muppet movie, which I would be on board with. I would love to see what Ryan Johnson does with the Muppet movie.
Yeah, we when we were recording our last episode, Evan, we were talking about like there was like I guess I think it was Jennifer Lawrence was talking about um possibly a like Miss Piggy movie or something,
Mm.
and we're like, oh yeah, that sounds like fun. Uh, I just hope the Muppets come back again soon because I've always enjoyed their outings. I mean, maybe a little less so the ABC televised show that came out, like that they tried to do like The Office, and I was like, that was kind of like mean spirited Muppets and not something I was really into.
Mm. I actually kind of like that show too. It had its moments that were very funny. I remember there was kind of like a meme that I saw about Fozzie Bear talking about putting himself on a dating app saying like bear looking for friends or something like that, and that being misinterpreted by people. That was quite funny. So yeah, I like them in all of their iterations, even the ones that didn't quite land. But I mean, there is another. There next year they have a planned revival of the Muppet Show for like a one-off episode, and I
Mm.
think that'll be a good testing ground to see if there's more appetite for the Muppets. I know I'm always eager for more Muppets, so hopefully other people are too. All right. So the next item we have, and this was really interesting to me, Max. I was glad that you brought this to my attention because I was like, "Whoa, this is nuts!" Apparently, Letterboxd is planning the social media app for movie people is planning to launch its own kind of digital video store where basically within Letterboxd you can rent movies, but specifically, things that are like festival standouts, long, watch listed titles of people with restorations, rediscoveries, limited time things. And I think it makes a lot of sense because Letterboxd is all about like watching, logging, reviewing, making lists, sharing movies that you want to see, and it kind of makes sense to me that they kind of delve into this realm. And I'm sure as an app that does all of those things, not all of those are very big money makers, but here we have the opportunity for them to include rentals and maybe pull in revenue from a different source. I like the idea that it's they have a lot of planned apps that are going to drop for this, like iOS, Android, Apple TV, Android, TV, Chromecast, AirPlay, etc. I think that's really cool, and so I'm really interested to see how this plays out. But I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think it's like extremely ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know the numbers of Letterbox. I don't know like its user base. Uh, I know that it grows year over year. I think
Mm-hmm.
more people talk about it all the time, and certainly enthusiasts, like movie enthusiasts, have it. And maybe that's the type of people that some of the films that they license they want to reach, right? Because I don't know. There's certainly small enough films that don't get the distribution that aren't given the push on Netflix or Hulu or what have you that could get into more eyeballs, and the
Mm-hmm.
distributors would love it, and it'd be good for film fans to discover. I have no idea like what is gonna be the size of what they offer. I don't know
Yeah.
like what platform are they using? I know like Criterion uses like Vimeo as their like back end video supporter, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's not the best, but it kind of works. Um, yeah, I have a lot of questions, and or even like we already have like some people already have subscriptions to Letterbox. Like I have a Patreon subscription, so I pay
Mm-hmm.
like $50 a year. Is there going to be like some kind of discount, or is this program going to be thrown in for people who as like an extra bonus, or is this going to be like entirely separate revenue stream that they're going to kind of explore?
Hmm. All really great questions, and hopefully they deliver on some answers before they launch this thing in December. They says coming early December, so hopefully more to come. But I'm certainly interested to see how it all plays out. I mean, to your point, a lot of critics obviously know it. I think a lot of movie enthusiasts do, but I still come across a number of people that have just who love movies but have never freaking heard of Letterboxd, which surprises me. So,
Right, and it's like there are avenues that do kind of what this already is promising. Like I didn't even mention Mubi, and I'm like
hmm
that is like probably a direct competitor to this idea. Then you have like very niche markets, like if you have something like Shutter, which would be really small horror movies,
yeah,
and then like the aforementioned Criterion Collection. So I mean, there are avenues for these type of films. Obviously, they're not gonna like get, I don't know, triple A list 90-day removed movie. I just don't think that that's what this is gonna do. Maybe they'll surprise me, but
yeah. I guess only time will tell. It does feel like there's a specter of like the movie pass hanging over this. I don't know if you feel like you're feeling the same thing. Like it sounds really great on paper, but like how are they going to pay for this, or how is this going to work, and is it going to be as good as people want, or is it going to like destroy the system?
right. I mean, you could also just say, oh, we're another like um Apple store, and you can rent any movie from us. But like maybe we'll have like the curation of like people saying these are the movies that should be in your face instead of like whatever Apple's pushing. But
hmm Yeah, I guess we'll see.
hmm
And the last item on our news list is about the auction to buy Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers has put itself out there, and apparently there's a few people trying to purchase it. Paramount, Comcast, and Netflix are all kind of in the running to try to buy, and we know that Paramount has tried a couple of times to buy Warner Brothers.
hmm
Some failed bids thus far, and yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see. I mean, Paramount wants to buy the whole thing, and Netflix and Comcast apparently just want to buy their Warner Brothers Burbank Studios and HBO, and then all the other stuff like HGTV and all those other Discovery, all that stuff would be sectioned off and sold off to other people. But yeah, I mean, will be interesting to see if Paramount ends up taking it. Netflix, in this article we're reading from the LA Times about
hmm
it, they have a lot of potential good things about acquiring this library. Like they get all the DC movies and The Matrix and Game of Thrones and Harry Potter and all kinds of like really good stuff, which could be helpful for Netflix because it has its own IP, but it's not the same level as a juggernaut like Warner Brothers and HBO. So
Yeah,
that
right. And
could be really
similarly,
interesting.
like Amazon bought MGM like 2 years ago, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
uh,
I mean,
um,
and Comcast's. I don't really know what that play is. Like I'm reading this article, I'm still like I don't really understand why you want it, but okay.
well, Comcast is Universal and Peacock, so it's just like they'd fold under there too.
hmm
Um, but like I was laughing at one of the articles from like Netflix where they made like in their pitch they were making a promise that like any outstanding theatrical engagements would be honored. Because like people would be like, oh no, Netflix is buying my film now, it's not going to get a theatrical engagement anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean that'd still be better than what Warner Brothers did, where it buried all that IP as like tax write-offs. So.
Mm. Well, the reason why also we've seen that Warner Brothers would pick this time, right? Because they had a pretty good theatrical year, all things considered, with Minecraft and
hmm
Sinners and I don't know the Conjuring movie. Like they had a lot of like pretty
Yeah, I think
surprising hits over
Superman didn't do poorly at the box
there.
office, did it?
No, that did fine. Enough that they greenlit the next one right away. So,
hmm
uh, but like they have all these things in place. They just made this like really big announcement maybe Tuesday before this article was posted, Evan, that I shared with you that like they renewed like 6 TV shows. So like they're like saying, oh, you can we already have arrangements for all these TV shows to like the new show, The Chair Company, will get a season two.
Mm-hmm.
House of the Dragons getting another season, and it's just so you know if you're taking HBO, you have like locked in contracts of shows that are doing okay. I guess even like there was that show Tusk, I guess, of Mark Ruffalo, which many people thought was going to be like a one season show, and like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they're like, no, he's coming back too for a second season. So, yeah, they're definitely in a position. Their last movie that they released in 2025 was One Battle After Another, and then they have nothing
Mm-hmm.
else for the rest of the year. So they're pretty much like, take our package. We're done for this year, and you can start rolling next year.
Hmm. Well, it will definitely be interesting to see who ends up snatching this up. Of course, as probably as you are, I've subscribed to all those platforms anyway, so doesn't matter who picks it up really. For me, I'm sure I'll end up seeing all the library will end up somewhere.
Sure, I guess what ultimately will come of it is like who is going to be the best steward of that large library of films and
Mm-hmm.
give it the care that it needs. I don't know if I'm tipping my cup at all early in this episode, but I'm like, I kind of feel like One Battle After Another is probably going to be like the film to beat this year,
Mm.
all in all awards categories. So like I think that that's another Warner Brothers like, oh, come by us and get potentially the best picture winner. So
Yeah, I still need to see that one. All right, should we transition to our main topic here, the Knives Out franchise?
yeah, I like myself a good whodunit.
Oh yeah, me too. And it's clear that Ryan Johnson, the creator of this franchise, does too. I mean, if it wasn't abundantly clear from these movies, like his, poker face, also like he loves a good mystery, and I dare say he writes a pretty damn good mystery too. I think he understands the genre and the formula well enough to make some fun movies. I don't think they're not like revolutionary, but they just hit the genre really really effectively. Um, so yeah, we've got three films in the franchise. We've got Knives Out from 2019. We've got Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery from 2022, and then the upcoming Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, which is coming out probably now ish whenever you're hearing this
Yeah,
episode.
probably a day after because
Yeah.
I plan to get this up probably Tuesday. So
Yeah. So, I mean, I think some overarching themes. They are, they're mysteries. They're whodunits, as you mentioned, Max. We've got Daniel Craig as Detective Benoit Blanc, who is a Southern fried detective who is, working his way through these mysteries. I mean, the casting is also really important in these movies. Like, they just jam pack the cast with just like incredible talent and fun people to see. So, Knives Out, the first one as Ana de Armas, kind of, this was, I would say, her breaking big kind of movie. Like, people didn't really know her before, and they really did after this. Christopher Plummer, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, Michael Shannon, Tony Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, like, just packed cast. And then, Glass Onion really continued that as well. We got Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista. Another really just like amazing cast with some fun cameos. I would say in the second one with like Hugh Grant and Ethan Hawke. And I mean, the third one I don't really know much about, but we know it's another obviously murder mystery. It's got Daniel Craig, of course, and some of the other people we know who are going to be in it: Josh Brolin, Josh O'Connor, Kaylee Spaney, Andrew Scott, Kerry Washington, Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, Gerald McCormick, Thomas Hayden Church. Again, like you know it's going to be great because of the cast. Without literally knowing much else about it, other than it's involving a religious community, a church setting. But let's focus in because the new one hasn't come out and neither of us have seen it. Let's focus in on the kind of first two films. Um, so
No,
the first one.
actually, Evan, I'll be able to talk about the third one a little bit. I saw it back at
Oh,
TIFF, so
oh, you did? Great.
yeah.
Okay.
um,
Yeah, I'd forgotten that you'd seen it. Okay, great. All right, so let's start with the first one, Knives Out, the kind of establishing this new franchise. It's set in Massachusetts. It's in this dysfunctional family, the Thromby family, after the death of their patriarch, who's played by Christopher Plummer. And funny enough, he is a murder mystery author
hmm.
who dies. And yeah, Anna de Armas is his like nurse, and she's heavily wrapped up in this. And Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig's character, is anonymously hired to be around during this investigation, which at first looks like a suicide because Christopher Plummer's character has like slit his own throat, and they're like, oh, it looks like it's a suicide. And then of course, because it's a murder mystery, we know it's not that simple, and it's like everybody in the family had reason to want to kill him, and who is it that did it? But yeah, Max, what do you think about the first Knives Out movie?
Yeah, so I think like we mentioned a little bit that Ryan Johnson was he's very interested in these murder mysteries and specifically stuff like Columbo and Murder She Wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Agatha Christie novels, right?
Right.
The Knives Out franchise has kind of been running side by side with new Agatha Christie adaptations of like Death on the Nile and Murder on the
Mm-hmm.
Orient Express with Kenneth Branagh, and those movies had their own eclectic cast of characters, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this is Ryan Johnson doing his own thing, and you know, I guess when Knives Out came out, was this post the Last Jedi or was it right before? I kind of like this had to be post, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it was after Last Jedi.
So this is a totally different swing for him. Maybe some people thought like, oh, this is his like one for me movie because um, he had done this humongous blockbuster
Mm-hmm.
with Star Wars, and now he was gonna be able to do like maybe this kind of smaller, or smaller, I say, again with a very large cast.
Right. Yeah, it's not like his first few movies like Brick or Brothers Bloom or Looper. Like this is like a legit like big movie, even if at the time they didn't necessarily think it would be a hit or it'd be a franchise.
No, and that's another thing too. Is like when you hire Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, and like I don't think like maybe he had this like idea like that would be his Hercule Poirot character, but like I don't know if that character feels like so intuitive to the DNA of the movie as much as like he does in the later movies. Um, Maybe he's kind of like filling a part because it's almost like the family is also very important to how well the story of Knives Out comes together.
Yeah, and I think the first Knives Out focuses a lot more on Ana de Armas, her character Marta Cabrera, and like how she's kind of moving through everything even more so. I don't want to go so far as to say that Benoit Blanc feels like an ancillary character, but he doesn't feel like the main character of the movie. And he even is he as a character himself admits that he kind of stumbling by luck into some of these like details that allow him to like figure out the case more so than in Glass Onion, where it feels like he's the main character and he's kind of dropped in with all these other people and he's actually like working a real mystery.
But this is a good aside. Like, How would you classify Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc? Like, he's not like a Columbo, right? He's not like this guy who seems like he doesn't know anything and like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like
He's
tricks
not
people.
playing dumb per se.
Hmm.
He's definitely like he's playing it kind of cool, like, and like I would say he's closer more to like Sherlock Holmes than he is to like Columbo, in that like he is a private detective and he's there and people know that he's there and he's like investigating, and he's got a really brilliant mind and powers of deduction. But there's some amount of like luck mixed in there. I feel like, of him kind of stumbling onto some of the details, at least in the ones that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one, I feel like in Glass Onion, definitely feels like he's got the jump on it more so than Knives Out, where he's kind of like a little bit lucky, and also like the main character is a bad liar, so
Yeah.
she kind of like has to tell him the truth pretty early on. It's like he doesn't have to like totally unravel the whole thing.
Right, and I think like what I really liked about Knives Out, again, you would say like you like the mysteries too, but like I liked the dialogue of Knives Out. I thought like there was like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of great quippy lines. Certainly when they're talking about like I don't know, like the neo-Nazi grand like child that's in the
Yeah,
house.
masturbating in the bathroom.
Yeah. I find that all those interactions really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of great dialogue. I mean, you throw a bunch of great character actors in a movie together, like they're gonna sell the dialogue. They're gonna make it very fun. And there's some great callbacks too. Like I love that earlier in the film, Christopher Plummer is talking about his um, family being some of them being so dumb they couldn't tell a real knife from a prop knife, and that
Mm-hmm.
actually comes back around when Chris Evans, you know, grabs the knife off of the giant thing of knives and tries to stab Ana de Armas, and realizes after that it's a prop knife. It's not a real knife, and that was just like a brilliant callback to earlier in the movie.
Right. No, I mean, and some of these, I think the best mysteries, the way that they're written are that they make you feel good for paying attention, right? And
Mm-hmm.
certainly making a callback to a line like that is a winning thing. I think when mysteries fail me, it's like when the perpetrator is like nowhere in bounds of where you would think it is, and it's just like totally like of left field. And
Mm-hmm.
you could say, oh well, the actual murderer is kind of boring, but as long as it makes sense, I feel like satisfaction in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a joke from The Office where Dwight Schrute says it's always the person you most medium to suspect, and that does broadly tend to be true. Um, I mean, I can't speak for the most recent Knives Out, but I do like that the first two kind of center around these like rich, powerful people who kind of think that they're gonna be able to get away with murder, and then it turns out that like other people from like the lower, you know, echelons of society have like got the drop on them between
Hmm.
like Ana de Armas and Janelle Monáe's character in Knives Out. So there's something kind of fun to that dynamic too. It's not just a murder mystery, but there's also kind of like a wealth class component to it, and the fun idea of, you know, Benoit Blanc being kind of like an outsider who's dropped in there and is able to like really disrupt or like stir the pot throughout the movie.
Right. So yeah, I think the first Knives Out movie was pretty darn successful. So successful, in fact, that Netflix reached out to Ryan Johnson, and they wanted to help him make two sequels to Knives
Mm-hmm.
Out. That was the reported deal right out of the gate. It wasn't just like, oh, we're gonna do one sequel and see what happens. Nope, they were in bed for at least two more,
Mm-hmm.
and that brought us to 2022's kind of COVID-19 affected uh, mystery, right?
Yeah, yeah. So this one involves them going to people going to a Greek island that's owned by a tech billionaire played by Edward Norton. His character's name is Miles Braun, And yeah, he's invited all of these old friends to this island for like a murder mystery weekend, which is funny unto itself. But yeah, then there's all kinds of shady things afoot. You find that he's a shady dude who's like stolen a bunch of stuff from other people and built his wealth on it, and he's willing to throw literally all of these people who he considers his friends under the bus. I was rewatching it before we recorded, and I just watching a little bit because I had actually seen this a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it more than the first Knives Out because actually I personally like Glass Onion better. I think it's a lot funnier. It's a lot more fun, and I think it moves more. And I like the cast. I just like everything about it better, which I
Mm-hmm.
know is not the most popular opinion because I know a lot of people didn't necessarily think it was better than the first one. But I just got to the scene where he ruins the murder mystery. So
Yeah.
Miles Braun, Edward Norton, has invited all his friends here for the murder mystery, and Benoit Blanc literally in like 2 seconds ruins the entire murder mystery that was planned for the whole weekend. And he's like, "Yeah, I did this on purpose because literally everyone here has a reason to kill you." Like, and he just lists off all the reasons. He's like, "You literally just like put a loaded gun on the table and turned out the lights." And that is such a great moment that he's like kind of leaving him on. And yeah, I don't know. There's something really satisfying about seeing someone as arrogant as Edward Norton kind of get his comeuppance in this movie. But Max, what do you think about Glass Onion?
Yeah, it's hard not to watch Glass Onion and see Edward Norton's character as anything else than like a coded Elon Musk.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Then in 2025, and looking back at that movie and what have you, and just a guy who's made, all his money on the backs of his friends, and he
Other
just
people's ideas he passes off as his own.
um I really like I mentioned that COVID thing because like one of the very first things is hilarious in that movie where like I guess we were just coming out of COVID or what have you, and like they like go to they're getting ready to go to the island, and they're like, oh, just like inhale this shit, and and like you're
Yeah, then you'll be
impervious.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that too. I really liked that they addressed COVID, and then they were like, "Here's this like Ethan Hawke has this gun that he's like shooting at people's throats, like some type of like mist," and he's like, "You're good." And
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc's like, "Wait, should I put my mask on?" He's like, "No, you're good."
Yeah, we're not
It
gonna
was
bring
like,
this up again
okay,
for the rest of the movie.
yeah, COVID over, but a good reason for them to be like isolated and to like be on this private island. And so yeah, I like that they addressed it, but in like a fun kind of silly way. And then they're like, okay, moving on from COVID.
Right. But no, and I agree. Like I like a lot of the actors that they have in this one, like Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Dave Bautista's always like really funny. Um, I guess like there's always some characters that don't get to show off as much, so that there's
Hmm.
certainly those there as well. I think ultimately, like I do think that Glass Onion can be more fun than out of even the three of them. Like Glass Onion is the most fun, but like, gee golly, there's a lot of cameos in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, Benoit Blanc is like playing online games with, Sondheim and Natasha Lyonne, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Angela Lansbury. And then yeah, like you said, we've got Ethan Hawke in there. We got Hugh Grant plays Benoit Blanc's husband, right? And yeah, the other people like Jackie Hoffman is really freaking funny as Dave Bautista's mom in the movie.
Hmm.
Like he's like in the middle of streaming. She's like, "Dookie, come in here. I got this thing." And then he's like, "Mom, I told you not to interrupt my streaming." And then she like smacks him in the face, like, "Don't you talk back to your mother." And then like he's got the whole like box that he's trying to solve, and she's already figured out like all the stuff from it.
Yeah, and then like no, I guess like each one of these Knives Out movies has a character that we kind of like, well, it takes over the narrative, really, right? If you said
Hmm.
like the first one was Ana de Armas, the second one is definitely Jenna Monet. She
Hmm.
she becomes like the character of this movie,
Right.
and yeah, she does an excellent job.
Yeah, I loved her. I thought she was great. I mean, I won't say too much more because I feel like that one you do get into some spoiler territory if you reveal more about her character. But yeah, I don't know. I just found it more watchable, like as a whole, and even rewatching the first Knives Out, it's fun, but it doesn't have the same like energy to me. It's not as like perky and well paced and I don't know, watchable. I feel like I'm like I enjoyed watching it again, but I could watch Glass Onion like way more times than the
Yeah,
first.
yeah, and like you said, Daniel Craig definitely has more to do in
Right.
this movie for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like you know, by the virtue of doing a second movie, he's kind of figured out more about his character and kind of like how to really work it and make it more natural and make it funny in ways that maybe it still felt like they were figuring out what the heck they were doing in the first one.
All right, and then yeah, that brings us up to Wake Up Dead Man, which you know there has been other screenings of it. I guess like you said, IFF Boston, the Fall Focus. They I think they also did a screening of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been making the turns, if you will, and you know this one. In a way, it's fun that he decides to like go in like different directions, so each one feels fresh. Whereas like the first one is like this very much like insular like family like who done it drama. The
Right.
second one is like vacation murder,
Right.
and this third one is more of like a religious church mystery. Um, and kind of the cinematography and the atmosphere of the movie kind of match that setting.
Nice.
And I guess I'll just set it up where um, we follow Josh O'Connor. He's the priest in this movie, and he is a former boxer, and he gets into like a confrontation with somebody at one of his masses or something, and it doesn't go over well, and so that they have to reassign him to another parish, and at that parish, it's run by Josh Brolin's character,
Okay.
and they kind of argue over like who's gonna get to run things, and like he can't overstep his balance compared to like Josh Brolin's been running things a long time, and a lot of the cast members are the longtime patrons of the church,
Okay.
and they come from all their different backgrounds, and the movie explains why they're like all there and their own backgrounds, right? Every character has their own background. Um, but yeah, I obviously the movie's coming out in a few days. I'm not going to go too much into it. I've reviewed it at Pop Heist. I did a review of it there, and I don't know if like I expected something more fun, being like a festival premiere, but like I didn't like jump up and down about it. But
Okay.
I know some people who saw it and said that it was their favorite of the three. So yeah, your mileage may vary. You might really enjoy it. I am looking forward to watching it with my spouse, and like because like I think a lot of the fun of these movies is sharing it with other people. So maybe it will be more fun in a setting where you're watching with more people.
Yeah. Absolutely, I could see that. Yeah, I love watching these kinds of movies with my wife, and it's fun to kind of like sit there and watch them, and sometimes like try to predict where it's going or who done it, and I could totally see that. I have a question for you, and I hopefully this isn't a spoiler, but Benoit Blanc in this is sporting a much more kind of like haggard look. He's kind of like scruffy, and he's got long hair. Is there any kind of explanation for that?
No, it doesn't really bring up anything like that. He comes into the picture much later. I don't know if it's just like what they were doing with Daniel Craig at the time, or if he was coming into this movie from something else. But I don't necessarily believe or remember if that was a problem with his character. It's just
Gotcha.
I
Okay, so he's not like a down on his luck Benoit Blanc that's like coming back for a mystery or something.
no, I didn't get that
Okay,
sense.
gotcha. All right, cool. Anything else you want to add about the latest Knives Out?
Uh, yeah, I guess like just just enjoy it on its own merit and remember like each one of these has their own kind of flavor to it, and
Mm-hmm.
if you are expecting another go around like Glass Onion, maybe don't expect that. um,
Okay.
it's very much like its own time and place and setting, and you gotta like accept it as just like another mystery. It's definitely unfolding another story.
Good to know. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I really love Ryan Johnson, and suspect that even if I'm not like over the moon for it, I will still have a solid time watching it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people will enjoy themselves when they sit down to watch this. Having I assume it didn't have the greatest theatrical rollout, so I'm sure a lot of people will be watching it for the first time on Netflix when it releases.
Sweet.
But
All
on the
right.
whole, on a whole, I guess like Evan, as we move on from Knives Out, I hope that they continue to make more of these. I do enjoy them. There's certainly more juice there.
Totally. Yeah, I mean like as you can make a detective show that's a, episode of the week, I think you can definitely keep making, movies that are whodunits and just change the setting. You keep the great, detective at the center of it, and you keep changing the cast, keep changing the setting. I agree. I don't, without having seen the third one, I'm sure that sure there's more gas in the tank on this franchise. And yeah, I'll keep watching if they keep making them. So,
All right. Cool.
all right. So then, before we move on to what we've been watching, should I will take us to our station identification?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, you've been listening to the It's the Pictures podcast. You can obviously get us wherever you get podcasts and wherever you're listening to us now. But if I can say anything today, it's that you should subscribe to our newsletter, which is now on the Ghost platform, and which Max, I think you launched this a couple weeks ago, right? And we have a new logo too. That's really exciting,
Yeah.
and new platform for the newsletter. So definitely check that out. And Max, what are some of the things that you're cooking up in the newsletter?
Yeah. So like I've kind of brought this new logo and new opening music for our podcast and new newsletter to like really change up kind of what I was doing with the social platforms. If you've gone to our YouTube page lately, I've posted a lot more videos. There's a lot more clips from our previous episode with Amelia Emberwing, and I've been sharing those not only on YouTube but on our Instagram page, which I kind of started over from scratch, and
Mm-hmm.
with new photos and videos and reels. Um, hoping to attract audience there to try out the podcast and and follow us some more and find stuff that they like. On the newsletter itself, I did reviews for Begonia and the new Springsteen movie, as well as the annual gift list that I put out. and
Well, that's a good one.
yeah, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of even the other day I talked about Hard Boiled, the John Woo film that just got a new 4K release by Shout Studios. So, uh, trying a lot of different things over there, and certainly there's going to be a lot of upcoming lists and stuff as we get into December. Some of the favorite films of the year, some for your consideration backlog stuff, and but also keeping up with the latest movies as well.
So a lot of great content there on the newsletter. Not just reposting episodes of the show, but there's a lot of good stuff that Max is working on. Great reporting, great interviews, lots of other topics, not just movies. As he mentioned, gift list, video games, anime, all kinds of other stuff. So definitely check that out. And then as Max mentioned, you can follow us on social media. We're It's the Pictures on Instagram. We're also over on Blue Sky. So catch us there. And then Max, where can people find you specifically on social media?
Yeah, if you want, like again, I didn't list the URL, but if you want to access the newsletter, you just have to type in itsthepictures.com and it will link you to the newsletter now. You can find me on Blue Sky, maxcovill.com. You can find me on Letterboxd. I'm often there, and like I said, I'm doing a more public facing Instagram through the It's the Pictures Instagram account now. So if you want to check that out, please do.
Yeah.
Evan, where can people find you?
So yeah, you guys can find me each week over at the podcast Spoiler Piece Theater, reviewing new release movies. I mean, you can also find me on. Let's see, where am I? I'm still on Twitter, although I post nothing there, so I don't know why you would follow me. I am on Threads, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and Instagram as Real Recon, and that's real as in film reel.
All right, awesome. What we got now?
Yeah, we're gonna go into our what we've been watching, and it looks like Max, you have a couple of movies that you've seen. Do you want to tell me what you've been watching lately?
Yeah, I've been doing the for your consideration kind of wrap up, but before I get into two movies that I actually did not like too much, I will share that I caught the pilot episode of the Apple TV Plus show Pluribus, the new show
Ooh,
by the director of Breaking Bad, starring Rhea Shahorn, and that's terrific. I can't wait to watch more of that, and yeah, I'd probably be watching that tonight. So yeah, I'd recommend that.
mm-hmm. Eager
But
to
yeah,
see it.
yeah, the movies I watched, I caught up with the Catherine Bigelow House of Dynamite that's available on Netflix now. It was got a lot of raves out of Venice, so I was interested to see what it was. And actually, it's a movie that's pretty much, for all intents and purposes, in three chapters. The first chapter, you have it's like different areas of the government. So like the first chapter has Rebecca Ferguson in it, and is the most compelling chapter. And I guess the third chapter has Idris Elba in it, and he is the president of the United States. And so I guess each 40-minute segment is a look of what is going on in like these important governmental offices if a missile was just one morning shot at Chicago, and the fear and anxiety and what would happen in our government and our preparedness for that to happen. And you know, I think it like overstays its welcome
Oh, that's a
by
bummer.
by a good like 40 minutes.
That is
Uh,
a long time to overstay its welcome.
yeah, I'm like, because it's repeating the same story three times. So it's like we know that the missile is gonna like where it's coming from and what's gonna happen and like
Mm-hmm.
the results of that, and it's just like I don't know. I guess a lot of people complained about the ending because it's not like it's really open ended about like what ultimately happens. Um,
Yeah.
but
For the ending is, I don't want to say controversial, but yeah, it definitely has people split.
up in arms. Yes. So no, I didn't get a lot of A House of Dynamite, and I don't understand where the raves were coming from. But no, I just go watch Point Break again.
Yeah.
And I guess like if I had legs, I'd kick you. Is really like it's a vehicle. Who's the leading lady of that?
Rose Byrne,
Yeah, Rose Byrne. It's really her
who's
vehicle.
great.
Yeah,
Love her.
and the movie is basically taking care of a child, anxiety 1 million. I guess like people have compared it to like Uncut Gems and like whatever like parenting and Night Bitch. Like if you kind of like compare like
Ooh, okay.
much those two movies together
Mm-hmm.
because you know Rose Byrne goes through hell where uh, the movie starts where I guess like her daughter has this like undisclosed illness, and she we at least know that she needs a feeding tube and a lot of care, and the husband's kind of like out of the picture because he's like away for like 8 weeks at a time, and so
Mm-hmm.
she's like having to hold down the fort. And to top that all off, there's been a cave in their ceiling of their apartment and full of water, and they had to go live in a hotel. And I don't know, it's just like craziness after craziness. I was like explaining like one 10-minute sequence to my wife, and I was like, this movie is pain. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I appreciate like it accomplishes what it set out to do, and she's terrific in it. So I mean, like if I'm rating it on like, was it a successful movie and what it set out to do? Yeah, it absolutely is. Would I recommend it to anybody to watch? No, I absolutely wouldn't.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, so my co-host on Spoiler Piece, Megan, described this movie to me and went into full, gory detail on it. And yeah, it sounds very stressful. It sounds like one of the most stressful movies ever, and I haven't even seen it, so I could see why you would watch that and go, "Yeah, it's effective, but do I want anybody else to see this? I don't know."
I can't say to anybody like, oh, yeah, I really recommend you go out of your way to see this because like
Mm-hmm.
maybe if I wanted them to have a bad time, like I don't even know like how A24 sold this to people to sit in the theater to watch it because I was
Right.
like, for me, I had to like look away. I was watching it like on like screeners, and I was like, this is uncomfortable. I don't know if I could sit here for 2 hours and watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, power to them, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I've been wary about watching it based on what I know about it. This just sounds stressful. It sounds like a bummer.
Yeah, it is. It is a big bummer, and like there's also like this through line of like the idea like if you're a woman like nobody hears you or hears your issues or complaints, and like
Mm-hmm.
men come into the picture and they're like, oh yeah, I just asked him to do it and he got it done right away, and it's like, where the fuck were you the whole time? It's like if life is so easy for you, it's like why can't you make it easier for your wife? I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
so upsetting.
Yeesh.
But that's enough about movies I didn't like.
Yeah. Did you see something you did like? I know you went to catch the premiere of Marty Supreme.
Yeah, social. I can't do a full review, but they said social sentiment is fine for right now, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it more. Probably write a review for it on the newsletter and share my thoughts about it. That there was a screening up in Boston, and director Josh Safdie was there, so that was pretty neat.
Cool. Oh, Looking forward to hearing more about that.
I watched Flow with my 6-year-old.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
It went okay. I mean, that movie, you
It's
saw it. It's not.
intense.
You think it's intense at parts?
There are moments where it's like pretty scary for the animals. I feel like in that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, I mean, I led with to my family that like no animal like really gets killed,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, so they could watch it a little bit more comfortably. But like, yeah, I guess there's like two or three scenes that get a little intense, but and
Hmm.
and the ending is not very straightforward for someone that age. Of like, they're watching it and they're like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. But if you're worried about blood or gore or language, there's certainly none of that.
Yeah. So did she like it overall?
I think she did. I don't know. I was like baby's first criterion, and so
Oh. Yeah, well, while I was gone on my trip, my mother-in-law took our daughter to her first movie, took her to see Chicken Run in the theater. So I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that experience.
oh bummer.
Yeah.
You didn't get to go.
Well, I was traveling, but yeah, I do look forward to taking our daughter to the movies and see
Oh,
something
yeah.
at some point. But yeah, let's see what have I been watching? Not a lot of movies, honestly. I
Mm.
wasn't really watching much on the plane. I actually rewatched Ballerina, which was fun. It was a fun plane movie, and Max, you and I talked about this off mic that I watched some of the Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, and that was kind of
Mm-hmm.
a mixed bag in places, but I didn't finish it, so I feel like I don't have more to say. I have really been getting into my wife and I've really been getting into like British like murder mystery
Mm.
procedural kind of shows. Um, so we watched Apple TV's new show Down Cemetery Road with Emma Thompson and Ruth Wilson,
Mm.
and also has Nathan Stewart Jarrett and some other great people in it. But yeah, it's there's this woman, Ruth Wilson, who's like searching for this girl, this neighbor of hers, after there's like an explosion, like a mysterious explosion in the neighborhood. And then Emma Thompson is like a PI who's like originally her husband's kind of investigating this case for this, woman, and they end up like linking up, and there's all kinds of like government conspiracy and like all kinds of cover up and whatnot. And I enjoyed it. I feel like it doesn't quite come together at the end in terms of like being as compelling as like the meat in the middle of the show is, but I really like Emma Thompson in it. Emma
Right.
Thompson's like rocking this like short spiky hairdo and leather jacket, and she's like a shit talking like angry like PI, and I'm like all about it. So like I would totally watch her in like this character like in another one of these because it was just so much fun to see her playing this role. Like she's just such a like chip on her shoulder kind of person, and she just like tears into people. And yeah, I just like totally dug her, and I liked Ruth Wilson in this too. It was vaguely reminiscent uh, of this other show I saw her in that I really liked, called The Woman in the Wall, which was another
Mm.
like British detective mystery kind of show, and also reminded me of this other one that we watched called Stay Close, which was a British murder mystery. So I don't know. I feel like we're just getting into this like genre of TV show and very much enjoying it.
No,
So
it's
I
it's
yeah I think I would recommend Down Cemetery Road, even if it doesn't, even if it has a similar Apple TV problem where it's like a pretty good show in the middle and then just like kind of peters out toward the end.
well, that's good, Evan. They can subscribe for Pluribus, and they can check out
Hmm.
Dawn Cemetery Road at the same time. And
Yep.
I mean, if you haven't been on Apple TV, subscribed for a long time, there's certainly a bevy of entertainment there. I mean, you'd find stuff to get your month's worth for sure.
Yeah, totally. There's so much good content. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Apple TV. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir and listeners. I'm sure on this show you've heard me say this a number of times. There's so many great shows on there, so definitely check it out. Also, this show in particular has a particularly terrifying villain to me. Like I think about villains in the like great villain canon, and up there right is Lalo from Better Call Saul.
Hmm.
Bec- As like a just totally scary villain to me, like the kind of person who would just like has no fear, does anything that they set their mind to with like a scary commitment, and the villain in this, yeah, he's equally scary. So I found him like just like immovable, force meets immovable object. He's just like, oh my god, dude, ugh, makes my skin crawl. So there's also an effective villain in this. So I think a few reasons worth watching, and I'll have to let you know, listeners, what my next British cop show turns out to be. But I'll be continuing on this kick when I'm not watching movies.
Yeah, I mean, for us, Evan, we watch a lot of British television too. I mean, more reality shows. We like Great British Bake Off and Taskmaster, but
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. So there's a lot of great entertainment all around the world for sure.
Yeah, I think what kicked this off was watching that show Department Q on Netflix with Matthew
Mm.
Good, which we really really enjoyed. And they were like, "Wait a minute, are we like into British cop shows?" And then we just started watching a few. I'm like, maybe we are into British cop shows. This is interesting.
I'm trying to think of that old one, Broadchurch. Have you ever seen that one?
I haven't, but I've definitely heard that one like recommended as. So maybe at some point I got to circle back to that.
Yeah, I think that's like with the guy who is from Doctor Who, David Tennant.
Right, and isn't Olivia Colman in that? Wasn't that kind of
Yeah,
what put her on a lot of people's radars?
yeah.
All right. Well, maybe that's one of my next ones. There's always a very long list of things, movies and TV shows to watch.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all I've got to say about what I've been watching. So, Max, unless there's anything else you want to add, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this conversation about the Knives Out films and what we've been watching. And we will see you on the next one.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy your holiday if you're getting together with family or what have you. Um, Lots to be thankful for. I'm thankful that you're my co-host, Evan.
Oh, shucks. I'm thankful for you too, friend. We'll see you next time, and happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating.
All right, thanks. Bye, everyone.